That's some good smoke. It's got me high off all those delusions and lies, baby. I should have a good buzz for years. Thank you, U.S. government. I sure appreciate this American dream.
Is the government conducting psychological operations on United States citizens? July 11, 2018. Art Voice by Teresa Rail. On July 2, 2013, American citizens became unknowing victims of government propaganda being paid for by their own tax dollars, and most don't even know it.
In 1948, an anti-propaganda law was passed which made it illegal for the government to social engineer via propaganda or psychological operations conducted on U.S. citizens. The law, entitled U.S. Information and Educational Exchange Act, has also been known as the Smith-Mundt Act or the Anti-Propaganda Act. It was legal to conduct misinformation campaigns in foreign countries, but not to the U.S. public. The foreign propaganda machines produced by the Broadcasting Board of Governors, such as Voice of America, Radio Free Europe/Radio Liberty, and the Middle East broadcasting networks could only be listened to in foreign countries at broadcast quality.
The above entities, Voice of America et al., are U.S. government-funded international broadcast sources that serve as the U.S. government's official institution for non-military, external broadcasting used primarily for influencing public opinion abroad regarding the United States and its leaders. VOA is the United States' largest international broadcaster, producing digital, TV and radio content in over 40 different languages, overseen by the Broadcasting Board of Governors, BBG, an independent arm of the U.S. government. Headquartered in D.C., funds are appropriated annually by Congress under the budget for embassies and consulates. In 2016 alone, VOA broadcast approximately 1,800 hours of programming each week to about 236.6 million people via a taxpayer-funded annual budget of $218.5 million. Radio Free Europe was created and grew through the efforts of the National Committee for a Free Europe, NCFE, an anti-communist CIA-front organization that was formed by Allen Dulles in NYC in 1949 and received covert funds from the CIA until 1972.
Radio Free Europe, 1949, targeted satellite countries, and Radio Liberty, 1953, specifically the Soviet Union. The KGB regularly jammed its signals, and communist governments sent agents to infiltrate its headquarters. RFE and RL merged in 1976. The Smith-Mundt Act was passed to prohibit that propaganda from being perpetrated on American citizens.
On July 2nd, 2013, all that changed. The repeal of the Smith-Mundt Act through an amendment in the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, let loose a cascade of thousands of hours per week of government-produced propaganda on the American public by legalizing the use of propaganda on the American public. Through this amendment, the State Department and the Pentagon are able to circumvent mainstream media outlets and directly disseminate misinformation campaigns to the U.S. population.
The mere passage of this law directly states their intention toward the American public and what they are planning to do. Now, they are using this law to do those things. H.R. 5736 to amend the U.S. Information and Educational Exchange Act of 1948 to authorize the domestic dissemination of information and material about the U.S. intended primarily for foreign audiences and for other purposes. Section 501A states,
The Secretary of the Broadcasting Board of Governors are authorized to use funds appropriated or otherwise made available for public diplomacy information programs to provide for the preparation, dissemination, and use of information intended for foreign audiences abroad about the United States, its people, and its policies, through press, publications, radio, motion pictures, the Internet and other information media, including social media, and through information centers, instructors, and other direct or indirect means of communication.
One must wonder why there are so many incidents of late that seemingly have no real cause except to create hysteria since the repeal of this law. The senseless violence, such as the Las Vegas shooting, should give one pause.
Since the repeal of this law, there have been numerous companies which have sprung up with the sole purpose of pushing the propaganda agenda on the US population and profiting from it. Companies such as Crowds on Demand and a host of others contract with the government to push the agenda of the day. Think for a moment when the last horrific incident occurred. How was it possible that crowds with signage, all having the same message, just appeared within hours of the event? If that hasn't made you wonder in the past, then it definitely should now. It should make you understand that the incident itself was planned beforehand, and it should lead you to know that someone is profiting off of the human misery.
Next time a senseless act of violence occurs, instead of listening to the mainstream media's version of the truth, sit back and think for a moment. Who benefits?